Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and in this video we're going to be talking about 3 warning signs that your ex is not getting back together with you. This can be a really difficult place for a lot of people to be. Many times people want to know, is there hope in my situation? Should I just give up? All that sort of stuff. And look, you can make your own decision. Obviously, I'm not here to live your life for you. I hope you want to live your own life, but these are some things to think about when it comes to the relationship that you have and if it's something that is worth pursuing for you. So the first warning sign that your ex is not getting back together with you is that the emotional connection between the two of you is getting worse. In many videos, we've talked about the importance of connecting emotionally. We've talked about how it's the most important thing, more important than, who's texting first, more important than rebound relationships, more important than the distance, more important than all the other things that maybe you might feel compelled to focus on or other people are telling you to focus on. Literally, the emotional connection is the most important thing when it comes to inspiring someone to want to be in a relationship with you. If the emotional connection is not there, then it pretty much doesn't matter what else you do, because nobody's going to want to be in a relationship with you if the connection isn't there, unless there's a good, solid emotional connection in place and they truly believe that their life is going to be better with you rather than without you. So that's why we spend so much time talking about the emotional connection between you and your ex, because it literally is the most important thing at play in the dynamic and in terms of determining whether or not the two of you are actually going to get back together or not. Now, in terms of this emotional connection, obviously we want to see progress happen. Okay, the emotional connection is getting deeper, it's getting stronger, the two of you are connecting more when maybe you weren't connecting at all or you were connecting less, all that sort of stuff. If there's progress unfolding, then that's great. That just shows, okay, something's working and the two of you are getting closer and things are, getting better. If there is no progress, and that says, okay, we've hit a stagnation point somewhere, it might make sense to look at what's going on, maybe change our strategy or something like that. But if the emotional connection is getting worse, then clearly something isn't working here, okay? Something isn't working, and we might touch on some possibilities on what that might be later on in this video, but something isn't working, and it makes sense to at least pause and reflect about what could be going on. Maybe consider doing no contact or something like that. We have a whole no contact series right up there. If need be, correct course. But if you're doing all of that and the connection between you and your ex is getting worse and worse and worse and worse, then just know that the likelihood that they have of saying, yes, let's get into a relationship is probably diminishing as well too. Now, again, we've talked about the emotional connection. Emotional connection is not necessarily, having a great time. It's not laughing. It's not playing. It's not flirting and all of that stuff. It can be that, but it's about really, can we get emotionally real with one another? If we're getting more and more emotionally real, then you're connecting more. If you're getting more and more honest, more and more vulnerable, more and more transparent, more and more curious, more and more whatever it might be, then you're definitely connecting more on that emotional level. And that can take, again, lots of different flavors. It can be the two of you laughing and reminiscing over old times. It can be the two of you crying about misunderstandings, about regrets about the past or whatever. But the truth is, as long as it is allowing the two of you to come closer together and to get more and more real and more honest with one another, that is an improved emotional connection. The second thing that could be a warning sign that you and your ex aren't getting back together is if you are out of alignment with who you want to be in a relationship. What do I mean with that? So, we often think that when we're in a great relationship, we're going to be able to feel calm, relaxed, peaceful, accepted, many of these other things. But so many of us don't feel that way right now. We feel insecure. We feel anxious. We feel like we're walking on eggshells. We feel like we need to overanalyze everything that's happening. And if that's what's going on, there's a fundamental disconnect between the person that you are now and the person that you aspire to be in a relationship. And just remember that how you're bringing yourself to the interactions right now, anxious, insecure, afraid, all that stuff, is going to be what you're basically trying to enroll your partner into being in a relationship with. And if they don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's anxious, afraid, insecure, overly analytical, keeping score, all that sort of stuff, then there's going to be some issues there, because you're going to be bringing yourself to the relationship in that way. You're going to naturally be repelling someone who's ready to have a relationship with someone who's calm, grounded, loving, accepting of themselves, accepting of others, and all of that. So we want to start by bringing ourselves into alignment with who we hope to be as the result of being in a great relationship. Now, I know that there's this belief that we have to get the relationship first before we're worthy of feeling loved, accepted, at ease, peaceful, grounded, etc. But it's actually the opposite way. If you start by embodying peace, groundedness, love, acceptance, and all those sorts of things, you're naturally going to get the fruits of that way of being, which is, a great relationship where you are going to feel loved for who you are, and accepted for who you are, and all of that great sort of stuff. So we want to work on our way of being first and foremost. And that brings us to the third component of this, which is that if your ex is out of alignment with the relationship that you want, or if they're out of alignment with the partner that you hope to be in a relationship with, okay? So what do I mean by this? Okay, so, your ex, sure, maybe they have a lot of great, wonderful qualities about them. But if, for example, you want to be in a peaceful relationship with someone who loves you exactly exactly as you are, if I can get my words out straight here, and is totally accepting and supportive of you, and is willing to take your side, and is willing to see things from your point of view, etc. But you say, okay, there's someone with severe narcissistic personality disorder. Let me try to get them to fit this image of what I want an ideal partner to be. That is really, an exercise in futility and frustration, because no matter how hard you try to make them into something that they're not, they're still just going to be whoever they're going to be. Can people change? Yes. Do people change all the time? But are they necessarily going to change on your timeline? No, not really. If they even change at all. So it's unfair for you to ask someone to be something other than who they are in order to be in a great relationship with you. If you can't accept them as they are, then it's just going to spell trouble for any sort of future relationship that you may have with them. So it's also important to get real about how you are perceiving your partner. Are you betting on potential, or are you betting on what is actually there between the two of you? Now, of course, as you bring yourself to the relationship in different ways, that is going to affect how they respond and how they meet you. If you bring yourself to a relationship in a way where you're very angry or very critical of them, they might pull away and they might distance themselves a lot. But if you bring yourself to a relationship in a way that's very, empathetic and calm and loving and accepting, then that can change the way that someone brings themselves to you. However, there's also the other factor, which is what their true nature is as well too, which is why we have this third component, which is, are they in alignment with what you want or out of alignment with what you want? And that's not to say there's anything wrong with them if they're out of alignment with what you want. It just means that they're just not the right partner for you to have a great relationship with. And even if the two of you do get together, then that would be surprising, but it's probably just going to end up in a lot of frustration and futility and end in a breakup further on down the road anyway. So, these are some warning signs to look out for, that you could be in for a rough time ahead. If you do want to get some help with all of this in terms of bringing yourself to the relationship in the best possible way, and learning how to qualify and read your ex or any other person to see if they do have the capacity for being the right partner for you, then you might be a good fit for our coaching program. It's called Commit, and it is application only. So if that is something you're interested in, please go to modernlove.life/quiz and fill out that application form there. And what's going to happen is, if at first pass it seems like you might be a good fit, you can go ahead and schedule a time to talk to Chantel from our team, and she'll get a chance to know you and get a chance to talk to you. If it makes sense, then she'll schedule a time for you and me to talk, and I can tell you more about it. We'll take things from there. If not, then you might get recommended some other resources or things like that might help you along the way. But anyway, it's over at modernlove.life/quiz. You can also find a link down below in the description box. Anyway, with that being said, thanks so much. Please take care and hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you next time.